Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
What if every distraction you allowed was silently stealing pieces of your greatness? What if the real key to wealth wasn't chasing money, but becoming so valuable that money, respect, and opportunity chase you instead? And what if the answer to your future success came down to one question? Will you rise to your true worth or stay hidden in plain sight? Every distraction you entertain weakens you. But when you focus on becoming more valuable, more skilled, and more disciplined, wealth follows. Financial wealth, respect, opportunity, and personal power. Chase everything and you gain nothing. But when you build yourself, you attract everything. The world does not reward noise. It rewards value. The decision you make now will shape the rest of your life. In a moment, you'll learn how to focus on becoming more valuable than ever before, starting from within. Your value determines your wealth. You're not paid for the hour itself. You're paid for the value you bring to it. If your value is low, your income will reflect it without mercy. That isn't punishment, it's simply the law of life. So the real question isn't, how do I make more money? But rather, how do I become more valuable? Because value attracts wealth the way a magnet pulls metal. You grow valuable by increasing what you know, mastering how you think, and refining how you show up. Every book you read, every skill you sharpen, every relationship you nurture adds to your worth. Yet here's the problem. Most people stop growing once school ends. They see graduation as a finish line, not realizing it's only the beginning of real education. You must choose to outgrow who you were yesterday. Train your mind daily. Study the lives of those who became indispensable. George Washington didn't rise to power by being loud. He rose because he became trustworthy, the kind of man others relied on to carry the weight of leadership. Ask yourself, can the world count on you? Can your family depend on your wisdom? Can your team follow your vision? If the answer is no, then your next step is crystal clear. Work on becoming that person. Wealth is attracted, not chased. You could spend your whole life running after money and still die broke, because money doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to order. It comes when you align with purpose, clarity, and discipline. You don't need to pursue wealth. You need to become the kind of person wealth pursues. Think of your mind as a magnet. If it's filled with fear, envy, and doubt, it pushes prosperity away. But when it's clear, full of gratitude, focus, and integrity, it draws opportunities without strain. The wealthy didn't just earn money. They became wealthy inside first. To attract it, clean your habits, discipline your thoughts, show up early, stay late, and do the hard work with a willing spirit. This isn't about perfection. It's about precision. You must strive for excellence in your craft, your character, and your commitment. John D. Rockefeller didn't inherit fortune. He attracted it by mastering both oil and opportunity. While others gambled and guessed, he planned and persisted. Wealth is not a random prize. It's a response to preparation. So the real question isn't, how do I chase success? It's, how do I prepare to receive it? The wealthiest people know prosperity follows preparation. They build systems that create consistent value, not desperate bursts of effort. Money is drawn to order, to businesses solving real problems, to investments made with patience, and to disciplines practiced when no one is watching. Look at nature. A garden doesn't chase the sun. It simply positions itself to receive light. In the same way, wealth flows toward those who are properly positioned in the economic ecosystem. Your financial habits are the soil where prosperity grows. Debt drives opportunity away, while savings create space for new possibilities. Impulse spending breeds chaos, while strategic investing creates order. Every choice either attracts abundance or drives it away. The wealthy don't just hold different bank accounts, they hold different beliefs. They see money as the natural result of creating value, not something to hunt or hoard. They know wealth is a byproduct of becoming valuable, not a desperate target. So stop chasing endlessly. Instead, develop character, competence, and consistency that naturally draw prosperity. Build expertise so strong the market can't ignore you. Nurture relationships rooted in genuine value. Solve problems with such excellence that compensation becomes inevitable. Remember, wealth doesn't go to those who crave it most. It goes to those who deserve it by how they think, what they create, and who they become. Set goals so clear they ignite. Most people drift with vague dreams and wonder why nothing works. If your goals lack clarity, your actions won't matter. A blurred target never builds a powerful life. Clarity drives momentum. You can't hit what you can't see. Goal setting isn't just writing words on paper. It's sculpting your future with fire, declaring who you will become and what you will achieve. Your goals should make you uncomfortable, not because they're impossible, but because they demand transformation. Break them down into 3 questions. What do you want? When do you want it? And what price are you willing to pay? Then face the mirror and ask, am I ready to pay in discipline, sacrifice, and focus? Winston Churchill's goal wasn't vague. He wanted victory, total and unshakable. That level of clarity once guided a nation through chaos. That's the clarity you must carry. Write your goals, etch them into your heart, and read them each morning like a warrior reading battle orders. Don't tiptoe into your future. March into it with boldness. When your goals are clear, your subconscious begins working toward them even as you rest. Your mind becomes a heat-seeking missile, detecting opportunities invisible to the unfocused. Clarity fuels momentum. The sharper your goals, the stronger your actions. Each morning you should wake up knowing exactly what mountain you are climbing. This precision removes decision fatigue and channels energy like a laser cutting steel. Goals must be written, measured, and reviewed. What isn't examined is forgotten, and what isn't measured cannot be improved. Goals aren't wishes, they're commitments etched in time. The most successful don't stumble on better chances, they rise on better clarity. They don't hope for success, they define it in advance. They don't wonder what to do each day, they already know what matters most. Burn away the fog of uncertainty. Define your targets so precisely that missing them becomes nearly impossible. Let your goals be so clear they pull you forward all day and wake you in the night. Clarity isn't just part of success, it's the foundation. Without it, efforts scatter into wasted force. With it, even ordinary actions compound into extraordinary results. Guard your time like treasure, for time is the true currency of life. Spend it carelessly, and you become careless. Waste it, and you waste your future. Wealthy minds treat time as sacred ground. They don't just fill hours, they multiply moments. Learn to say no with love and yes with strategy. Every distraction carries a cost. Every wasted hour robs your future self. Protect your time from gossip, negativity, and people who drain instead of build. Track your hours for 1 week. Write down where they really go. You'll be shocked to realize how much of your destiny you've been giving away for free. Take it back. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Do not squander time, for that's the stuff life is made of." He didn't just invent things, he created hours that worked for him. That's how he built value. From this moment forward, treat your time like a bank account that only withdraws. Invest it where it compounds, into learning, building, and creating. Time isn't renewable, but its impact can echo for generations. Yet most people act as if it's endless, surrendering hours to scrolling feeds that add nothing, conversations that go nowhere, and tasks that never move life forward. These aren't harmless habits. They're withdrawals from your future potential. The wealthy and accomplished know a hard truth. Time abundance is an illusion. We all share the same 24 hours, but the difference is how fiercely we protect and strategically direct them. Consider how you handle interruptions. The average person allows their focus to be hijacked dozens of times a day. Each break not only steals minutes, but also the 23 it takes to fully regain concentration. This is why deep work, uninterrupted, focused creation, must be scheduled and defended like your most important meeting. Treat your calendar as a fortress, not a suggestion box. Block time for your highest priorities before anyone else claims it. And above all, guard your mornings. Those golden hours of fresh energy should belong to your most important work, not reactive tasks or other people's emergencies. Learn to audit your commitments regularly. Ask yourself, if I weren't already doing this, would I start now? If the answer is no, create an exit plan. The courage to cut good activities to make space for great ones is what separates the extraordinary from the merely busy. In the end, the quality of your life reflects the quality of your time allocation. When you protect your time, you protect your potential. You safeguard your ability to create value, serve with excellence, and build a legacy that lasts. Start today by identifying your 3 most valuable activities, the ones that deliver the greatest results in your life and work. Then eliminate, delegate, or minimize everything else. Don't just manage time. Invest it where the returns are highest. Guard your hours like the treasure they are, and watch your life shift from busy to purposeful, from scattered to focused, from ordinary to extraordinary. But remember, build character before chasing wealth. Many want riches, but few want to become the person strong enough to carry them. That's why wealth slips through so many hands. Money without character is a disaster waiting to happen. True wealth begins in your spirit. Character means doing the right thing when it's inconvenient, when no one notices, and when you could easily choose the opposite. It means keeping your word, handling pressure with grace, and treating people with respect regardless of title. The wealthiest in history weren't just rich in accounts, they were rich in values. Andrew Carnegie built an empire, then gave away billions. He believed wealth without generosity was poverty in disguise, and it was his character that multiplied his influence. Start with small acts. Tell the truth even when it costs. Return what isn't yours. Finish what you promised. These simple choices build a kind of wealth no market crash can erase. So ask yourself, can your future trust you? Can wealth rest in your hands without fear of misuse? If not, lay the foundation first. Then watch prosperity rise like a temple built on solid ground. Character is the hidden architecture of success. Skills and strategies may create fortune, but only character sustains it. History is filled with brilliant, talented people who collapsed under their own success because integrity couldn't bear the weight. Their talents lifted them higher than their character could support. The market pays for skill, but it ultimately rewards integrity. Anyone can learn tactics, but integrity is forged through difficult choices. Each time you keep a promise when quitting feels easier, each time you admit a mistake when hiding seems safer, you strengthen that foundation. Wealth is never truly chased, it is attracted. You can spend a lifetime running after money and still end up empty. Money doesn't respond to desperation, it responds to order. It flows when you live with clarity, discipline, and purpose. You don't need to chase wealth. You need to become the person wealth naturally runs toward. Think of your mind as a magnet. If it's cluttered with fear, envy, and doubt, it repels prosperity. But if it's clear, filled with gratitude, focus, and integrity, opportunities arrive without struggle. The wealthy didn't just earn money, they became it within first. To attract it, clean your habits, order your thoughts, show up early, stay late, and do the hard work with a willing spirit. This is not about perfection, it's about precision. You must strive for excellence in your craft, in your character, and in your commitment. John D. Rockefeller didn't inherit wealth. He attracted it by mastering both oil and opportunity. True wealth isn't measured by what you own, but by what owns you. Are you controlled by greed or guided by purpose? Do you worship status or value substance? These questions reveal whether you're truly building wealth or just chasing money. Start building character now, no matter your financial situation. Practice radical honesty in every deal. Fulfill your obligations with enthusiasm, not reluctance. Give credit freely and accept blame without excuses. Seek feedback on your blind spots. These habits may never show up on a balance sheet, but they form the foundation of lasting prosperity. Character works like compound interest, quiet at first, then suddenly undeniable. It draws opportunities money alone could never buy. Trust, loyalty, and the ability to make a meaningful impact. Build character first. Let wealth follow. This isn't just moral advice. It's a practical strategy for creating prosperity that elevates rather than corrupts. Discipline is the gatekeeper of wealth. No dream survives without it. Discipline is the invisible wall between where you are and where you want to be. Talent might open doors, but only discipline keeps them open. Without it, even the brightest minds sink into mediocrity. Discipline means doing what must be done even when you don't feel like it, showing up when you're tired, focusing when distractions pull, and pushing forward when inspiration fades. Discipline builds resilience, and resilience builds lasting value. Begin with structure. Wake up at the same time every day. Follow a schedule that fuels your vision. Avoid temptations that drain energy and build rituals that nourish your future. Discipline is like a muscle. It grows stronger through repetition. Nikola Tesla lived with almost monk-like discipline, often working 20-hour days fueled by vision and focus. While others partied, he prepared. That's why his legacy still shapes our world today. Ask yourself daily, are your habits aligned with your ambitions? If not, redesign your life until they are. The future isn't built on occasional effort, but on consistent commitment. Most people misunderstand discipline. They see it as punishment rather than freedom. True discipline doesn't restrict life, it expands it. It doesn't diminish pleasure, it deepens satisfaction. The disciplined person doesn't lose freedom, they gain impact. Look at any great achievement. Behind every masterpiece, breakthrough, and fortune stands the quiet force of discipline. The painter who shows up daily, the entrepreneur who reviews numbers when others rest, the writer who produces pages whether inspired or not. Their secret isn't luck or talent, but steady, consistent action. Discipline creates the divide between average and exceptional. Talent is spread widely, but discipline is not. That's why people with modest ability often outperform the brilliant. They've harnessed the compound effect of small daily actions. What looks insignificant in the moment becomes transformative over time. Financial wealth follows the same principle. The wealthy aren't always more intelligent or privileged. They're simply more disciplined with resources. They spend consciously instead of emotionally. They invest systematically rather than sporadically. They delay gratification, not from denial, but from understanding the math of compounding returns. Modern society has weaponized distraction. Every notification, every convenience is designed to weaken discipline. Resisting isn't just preference, it's strategic warfare for your future. Each time you choose focus over distraction, you're not just completing a task. You're building the capacity for true wealth creation. The most powerful form of discipline is the kind no one else sees. It's the private victories that prepare the ground for public success. Saying no to the extra drink, rising before you're required, reading instead of scrolling, saving instead of spending. These hidden choices create the foundation for visible achievement. Begin practicing wealth-building discipline today. Start small. 5 minutes of focused work. One intentional choice. A single habit upgraded. Then expand step by step. Discipline doesn't demand perfection. It rewards consistency. The aim isn't flawless performance, but unstoppable progress. Always remember, discipline serves your vision, not the other way around. Without purpose, discipline feels like a burden. But when fueled by purpose, it becomes passionate persistence. Define what matters most to you. Then build habits that align with that vision. True wealth doesn't come from bursts of intensity, but from the discipline you apply day after day. This is the test that separates those who only dream from those who build lasting success. Become irreplaceable in your field. You weren't born to be average. You were born to master something so well the world cannot ignore you. Real wealth comes not from copying what others do, but from excelling at what others can't. While most dabble, few truly commit. The majority jump from one passion to the next, but you must go deeper. Become the best at solving one problem. The deeper your mastery, the greater your value. Identify the one thing you can do better than most, then give it everything. Study, practice, refine, repeat. Excellence is not a gift, it's a choice you make every single day. Isaac Newton didn't invent gravity. He observed it so deeply the world still learns from him. He made himself irreplaceable by going where no mind had gone. Ask yourself, in your field, would anyone notice if you stopped showing up? If not, your path is clear. Build until the answer is yes. Today's economy rewards specialization with unprecedented abundance. While generalists fight for attention, specialists command premium pay. That's not luck. It's the natural result of focused expertise. When you solve a specific problem better than anyone else, you don't just earn a living, you earn leverage. Irreplaceability starts with the choice to be exceptional in one domain rather than adequate in many. This doesn't mean ignoring complementary skills. It means centering your life on a core competency that becomes your signature contribution. The goal isn't to do more. It's to do one thing so well it creates its own demand. Look at craftspeople who charge 6 figures. They aren't selling products. They're selling decades of judgment, thousands of deliberate hours, and solutions few can replicate. Uniqueness creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. The path to irreplaceability requires brutal honesty. Most people overestimate what they can do short-term and underestimate their long-term potential. They quit when mastery feels far away, then restart as novices, locking in mediocrity. Break the cycle. Choose depth over breadth. Begin with a clear self-assessment. What problems do you already solve better than most? Where do your natural strengths meet real market needs? Then chart a deliberate path toward mastery. Don't just read one book. Read every major work in your field. Study not only the rules, but also the exceptions. Learn from failures as much as from successes. The truly irreplaceable professional doesn't just meet standards. They set new ones and redefine what excellence means in their domain. They push boundaries not for ego, but because that's where breakthrough value is found. At this level, you don't chase opportunities. Opportunities chase you. Remember, irreplaceability isn't only about technical mastery. It's about the unique way you solve problems, communicate solutions, and build relationships. This becomes your professional fingerprint, as distinct as your DNA. Cultivate this signature style until your work is recognizable even without your name on it. The journey demands sacrifice, trading the dabbler's variety for the master's depth, giving up instant gratification for long-term excellence, working while others rest. But these choices compound over time, creating a moat that shields you from competition and change. Start now. Choose your field of mastery and commit with unshakable focus. Irreplaceability won't come overnight, but with consistent effort, it will become your greatest asset. One no downturn, no technology, no competitor can take away. Feed your mind with the right fuel. Just as the body can't thrive on junk, your mind can't thrive on noise. Weak inputs create weak outputs. Guard your thoughts like a soldier guards a gate. Cut out toxic news, empty chatter, and anything that plants fear or doubt. Instead, fill your mind with books of substance, voices of those who've walked the path you dream of, and words that align with the person you're becoming. A morning quote, a chapter of wisdom, a conversation that lifts you. These daily practices sharpen your mind and steady your spirit. Gerald Spurgeon, known as the preacher of power, had read hundreds of books before he turned 20. His mind was fed with wisdom, not foolishness, and that's why his words still ignite hearts today. Remember, what you feed your mind shapes how you act, and how you act determines what you earn. If you want more from life, begin with what you're putting into your mind. The human mind works like a powerful filter, processing thousands of inputs each day and turning them into beliefs, choices, and results. Yet most people leave this process to chance, absorbing whatever drifts their way. That passive approach guarantees mediocrity. The wealthy and successful know that mental consumption must be as strategic as financial investment. They understand that attention is the most valuable currency, and they allocate it deliberately. Every piece of information you consume becomes part of your inner operating system. So treat your mental diet with the same discipline as your physical nutrition. Audit your sources with ruthless honesty. Does that news feed bring clarity or anxiety? Do those social media accounts inspire growth or drain your energy? Are your conversations elevating your thinking or keeping you stuck in outdated patterns? High performers establish mental routines that prioritize wisdom over trivia. They begin each morning with focused inputs, reading, reflection, strategic thinking, or creative exploration, before the world can steal their attention. They know the morning sets the tone for the entire day. Protect your mind from inputs that stir envy, fear, outrage, or victimhood. These may feel momentarily satisfying, but cloud your judgment and weaken performance. Instead, choose content that fuels clarity, confidence, creativity, and compassion. Your mental diet should regularly expose you to ideas beyond your comfort zone. Seek perspectives that challenge assumptions yet expand your thinking. This isn't about chasing arguments that trigger defensiveness, but embracing transformative frameworks that elevate your understanding. Remember, inputs aren't limited to information. The environments you choose, the questions you ask, and the challenges you accept all shape your mental landscape. Design experiences that strengthen rather than weaken your mind. A disciplined thinker doesn't just consume better content, they process it more effectively. Build habits that deepen your connection to valuable knowledge. Journal your insights, teach concepts to others, or apply ideas immediately in your work. This process transforms fleeting information into lasting wisdom. Begin today by cutting out one toxic source and replacing it with a source of genuine wisdom. Your mind will reflect the change, and your life will follow. Thoughts shape actions, actions shape habits, and habits shape destiny. Take full ownership of your life. The moment you start blaming, you surrender power. Excuses may comfort you briefly, but they steal your strength. If you truly want wealth, you must take responsibility for everything in your life, even the hard parts. Ownership isn't about fault, it's about control. If blame lies elsewhere, so does your future. But when it's in your hands, you can shape it. Start small, with your attitude, your habits, and your reactions. Don't wait for perfect conditions, and don't rely on luck. Build your world with your hands and your mind. So ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Who are you blaming? Take the reins, it's your life. Make it count. Ownership begins with a simple but powerful shift in perspective. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do with this? That single pivot transforms you from victim to creator, from passenger to driver. The circumstances may not always be your choice, but your response always is. Most people live reacting to their environment. They blame the economy, their past, their boss, or their limitations. This story feels safe because if external forces control your destiny, then failure isn't your fault. But that comfort carries a heavy price. It strips away your power. True ownership means abandoning the search for someone or something to blame. It means looking in the mirror and saying, I am responsible for where I am, and I am capable of creating where I go. At first, this may feel like a heavier load, but in reality, it's liberating. When you own your situation, you also own the solutions. And this principle applies directly to building wealth. The average person blames low income, bad timing, or lack of opportunity for their struggles. The wealthy, however, ask different questions. How can I increase my value? How can I serve more effectively? How can I turn this obstacle into an opening? They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create conditions that work. Ownership doesn't stop at your actions. It also extends to your emotions. Many people believe their feelings are caused by external events. They say, you made me angry, or this situation is stressing me out. But that mindset surrenders your emotional power to circumstances. True ownership begins by realizing that it's your interpretation, not the event itself, that shapes your emotions. Start practicing radical responsibility in small ways. When you make a mistake, own it immediately without excuses. When a project stumbles, ask what you could have done differently instead of pointing out others' shortcomings. When obstacles appear, focus only on what's within your control. This ownership mindset reveals its greatest power in adversity. While most people use challenges as excuses to lower their expectations, those who embrace ownership see them as chances to prove their resourcefulness. They understand that constraints can spark creativity in ways comfort never could. Ownership doesn't mean blaming yourself for what's truly beyond your control. It means refusing to use those things as excuses. You didn't cause the rainstorm, but you can carry an umbrella. You didn't create economic turbulence, but you can adjust your strategy. Lasting wealth is never built on lucky breaks. It's built on this ownership mentality. It shows up as reliability clients trust, resilience that weathers market shifts, and resourcefulness that turns problems into profits. Start practicing it today. Identify one area of your life where you've been waiting for someone else to change or for circumstances to improve. Then ask, what can I do, regardless of these external factors? That single question activates ownership, and ownership activates everything else. Expand your circle. Elevate your life. Remember, your environment is either your cage or your catalyst. If you spend time with small minds, you will shrink. But if you surround yourself with big vision, bold dreams, and decisive action, you will expand. You naturally grow into the people you associate with. So audit your circle. Who challenges you to rise? Who inspires your greatness? And who keeps you trapped in excuses? Be ruthless in your choices. Seek mentors, learn from those ahead, and build friendships based on progress, not comfort. Collaborate with people who make you better, not bitter. Consider James Watt, whose innovations fueled the Industrial Revolution, but only after years of working alongside other brilliant minds. Iron sharpens iron. Elevate your company, and if you're the smartest person in the room, it's time to change rooms. Surround yourself with those who push you to level up. Wealth flows where wisdom gathers. The human mind is magnetically pulled toward its surroundings. You unconsciously absorb the beliefs, attitudes, and habits of those closest to you. This hidden influence shapes your ambitions, defines your expectations, and ultimately determines your results. Your circle doesn't just reflect who you are, it predicts who you will become. Most people choose associations out of convenience, comfort, or chance. But extraordinary achievement always requires extraordinary input. 32:36. You must deliberately engineer your environment to elevate rather than limit your potential. Begin with a candid assessment of your current circle. Do they celebrate your growth or subtly undermine it? Do they focus on problems or solutions? Do they invest in their own development or remain static? The answers reveal whether your relationships are appreciating assets or depreciating liabilities. 33:02. Strategic relationship building isn't about manipulation or abandoning loyal friends. It's about expanding your circle to include those who pull you forward. Maintain your foundational relationships while actively cultivating connections with those operating at higher levels of achievement, creativity, and impact. Seek out the company of individuals who have already manifested what you aspire to create. 33:24. Their presence normalizes excellence and recalibrates your sense of what's possible. Their standards become your standards. Their habits become your habits. Their expansive thinking stretches your own mental boundaries. The wealth-building power of strategic relationships extends beyond inspiration. Your network becomes your opportunity ecosystem. 33:50. Ideas flow, doors open, and resources materialize through the connections you cultivate. The most valuable opportunities rarely come through formal channels. They emerge through relationship networks operating at the leading edge of industries and ideas. Diversify your circle across different domains of excellence. 34:10. Connect with masters of craft, business visionaries, thought leaders, and those with exceptional character. This diversity of perspective prevents blind spots and generates innovative combinations that create unique value. Remember that elevation requires reciprocity. Don't just extract value, create it. Become the kind of person others seek to have in their circle. Cultivate qualities that lift those around you. Thoughtful listening, genuine encouragement, valuable insights, relentless reliability, and unshakable integrity. The path to wealth and impact runs straight through the quality of your relationships. Choose wisely, nurture them intentionally, and watch how your circle elevates your standards. Your life doesn't expand by accident. It grows through association with people who refuse to settle for anything less than extraordinary. And once you understand this, the next principle becomes clear: mastering the power of focus. In a world overflowing with distractions, focus is the ultimate competitive advantage. The ability to direct your full attention toward one meaningful pursuit isn't just valuable, it's transformative. While most scatter their energy across countless tasks, those who harness focus consistently outperform the distracted majority. Focus isn't simply concentration. It's intentional dedication to what matters most. When you commit your energy to a single, significant goal with unwavering determination, remarkable things happen. Productivity multiplies, expertise deepens, and impact intensifies. As the noise fades, clarity takes its place. But cultivating focus requires deliberate boundaries. It means silencing digital interruptions and protecting sacred blocks of deep, uninterrupted work. It means learning to say no to commitments that dilute your effectiveness. And above all, it means embracing sequential mastery, finishing one meaningful goal before moving on to the next. The myth of multitasking has stolen countless hours of true productivity. Research shows the brain performs best when fully engaged with a single complex task. Every time you switch contexts, you create cognitive drag. Now imagine channeling all the energy you waste on scattered commitments into your single, most important objective. What could you achieve in a year with that kind of focus? What innovations might you create? What skills could you master? What problems could you finally solve? By embracing focus, you don't just boost productivity, you reclaim autonomy. Instead of constantly reacting to outside demands, you take control of your time and direct it toward what truly matters. This intentional focus ripples into every part of life, bringing clarity where confusion once ruled. The choice is simple yet profound. Drift with the distracted majority or stand with the focused few who turn dreams into reality. Your ability to focus may be the defining factor between ambitions that fade and achievements that last. And that leads to another truth. You must learn the language of value. The way you communicate shapes how others perceive your worth. Words are not just sounds. They are signals that broadcast your value to the world. When your language is vague or uncertain, your impact weakens. But when you speak with clarity, confidence, and vision, people instinctively recognize your value and respond. History's greatest leaders mastered this art, communicating in ways that commanded respect and inspired decisive action. They knew that true leadership communication was never about fancy words, but about conviction, being able to articulate goals, explain complex ideas, and express a mission so clearly that followers became believers. Begin upgrading your verbal software by eliminating hedging phrases like "I think" or "maybe," which signal doubt. Replace them with declarations of certainty. "I believe," "I will," "I know." Notice how these simple shifts transform the energy of your communication. Practice speaking about your aspirations as if they are already unfolding, not distant possibilities. This linguistic upgrade requires deliberate practice. Start with everyday conversations. Catch yourself when your language weakens your presence. Are you apologizing when it's unnecessary? Are you overqualifying statements or undermining your authority with phrases like "just checking in" or "this might sound silly"? Each moment is an opportunity to realign your words with your true value. Theodore Roosevelt mastered this art. His speeches didn't just inform, they ignited action. His famous "Man in the Arena" speech still inspires over a century later because he spoke the language of value with such conviction that his voice continues to echo through generations. The language of value also lives in delivery. Speak at a steady pace that gives your ideas room to breathe. Remove fillers like or like that water down your message. Hold eye contact that conveys confidence without aggression. Use pauses strategically, giving weight to your most important points. Remember, speaking the language of value isn't about exaggeration. It's about clarity and conviction. It's about aligning your communication with your true worth and removing the habits that conceal it. The goal isn't to impress with complicated vocabulary, but to express authentic value with clarity and conviction. Your words reflect your thinking patterns, shaping both your self-perception and worldview. As you refine your language, your thoughts evolve alongside it. When you consistently speak as someone of value, you begin to think and act that way too. This creates a powerful cycle that changes not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. Practice this daily. Record key conversations and review them with a critical eye. Join groups that challenge your speaking skills and welcome constructive feedback. Study the communication patterns of leaders you admire. With persistence, the language of value becomes second nature, making your worth undeniable to everyone you meet. Then take it further, solve bigger problems. The size of your success always matches the size of the problems you're willing to tackle. Across every industry, rewards follow contribution. The greater the problem you solve, the greater your value becomes. Yet most people avoid challenges, sidestepping complexity and retreating from resistance. That avoidance creates rare opportunities for those who move in the opposite direction. By seeking out meaningful problems, especially the ones others ignore, you establish yourself as an indispensable resource. The most respected professionals all share this trait. They run toward complexity instead of away from it. They don't dwell on obstacles, they create strategies. They don't just point out flaws, they deliver improvements. This mindset turns ordinary workers into irreplaceable leaders. Develop this mindset by changing your inner dialogue. When challenges appear, resist the victim question, "Why is this happening to me?" Replace it with, "How can I use this to create value for others?" That subtle shift moves energy from self-pity to innovation. Consider Florence Nightingale's revolutionary impact. Faced with horrific conditions in Crimean War field hospitals, she did more than treat patients. She reformed care itself. By improving sanitation, organization, and data collection, she solved multidimensional problems that had cost countless lives, cementing her legacy as a transformative force in medicine. This pattern repeats across every field. Tech founders who solve real user pain build billion-dollar companies. Scientists who fill critical research gaps make breakthrough discoveries. Leaders who fix organizational dysfunction create thriving cultures. The principle is constant. Those who solve bigger problems earn bigger rewards. Start by spotting issues hiding in plain sight around you. What frustrations do colleagues repeat? Which inefficiencies bleed productivity? What customer needs go unmet? These pain points are your opportunities to deliver exceptional value. Tackle each challenge methodically. Define the problem precisely. Research existing solutions. Identify root obstacles. Craft innovative approaches. Implement improvements systematically, and document results rigorously. This disciplined process builds your reputation as someone who delivers outcomes, not excuses. Problem solving, like any other skill, develops through deliberate practice. Start with challenges just beyond your comfort zone, then progress to more complex issues. Each victory strengthens your capacity to face greater ones in the future. The most valuable problems often sit at the crossroads of your unique abilities and real market needs. Your distinct mix of skills, knowledge, and perspective allows you to spot and solve issues others overlook. Align those strengths with meaningful challenges, and you create a constant stream of opportunity. What problem have you been avoiding? Which challenge feels too daunting to face? That may be your next breakthrough. Confront it fully and apply your best. Turn obstacles into opportunities. The more significant problems you solve, the more your value and rewards multiply. Become a student of wealth. Financial prosperity rarely comes by accident. Those who build lasting fortunes treat money as a subject to master, not a matter of luck. They don't just earn money. They study how it works, how it grows, and how to transform it from master into servant. While many spend hours lost in entertainment, the financially wise spend that time learning the mechanics of wealth. Your financial education begins with awareness. Track every dollar. How much disappears into consumption, and how much builds future wealth. This simple act reveals patterns that either support or sabotage your progress. A budget is your blueprint, but the wealth mindset, the vision of turning income into assets, is the true architecture. Approach wealth as you would any serious discipline. Just like mastering mathematics requires steady study and practice, financial intelligence develops through consistent learning and application. Read foundational works from proven wealth builders. Study investment vehicles, stocks, real estate, businesses, understanding both their strengths and limitations. Recognize that compound interest works powerfully over time, either for you through investments or against you through debt. Take Mayer Amschel Rothschild, founder of one of history's greatest banking dynasties. Born into modest circumstances, he didn't inherit vast resources. He studied money relentlessly, apprenticed in a banking house, and learned the mechanics of currencies, investments, and financial systems. He saw opportunities others ignored and built sustainable systems that created wealth across generations, establishing a legacy that outlived him. Financial literacy changes your relationship with money completely. Without it, money feels mysterious and intimidating. With it, you see that wealth follows predictable principles you can leverage. This shift moves you from working endlessly for income to building mechanisms that generate wealth even while you sleep. The wealthy don't guard secret knowledge. They simply prioritized financial education while others stayed financially untrained. Over decades, this advantage compounds, widening the prosperity gap between the literate and the unschooled. Remember, wealth isn't just about accumulation. It's about creating options and leaving an impact. Financial knowledge gives you the power to support causes you care about, provide for loved ones, and pursue meaningful work without desperation. True wealth is not just money, but the wisdom to use it effectively. Commit today to being a lifelong student of wealth. Set aside regular time for financial education and establish measurable goals to expand your financial knowledge. Seek mentors who embody sustainable prosperity. Once you understand wealth's principles, money shifts from being an elusive target to a dependable tool, serving your deepest values and aspirations. Build a legacy, not just a lifestyle. The difference between the two is the line between fleeting satisfaction and lasting impact. Many people chase comfort and instant gratification, asking, "What can I get? How can I feel good now? What will impress others?" While pleasure has its place, this mindset ends when you do. Legacy thinking, however, stretches far beyond personal gain. It shifts your focus toward building something that outlives you, a purpose that carries meaning across generations. Legacy begins with one fundamental question: what will remain when you're gone? Will your children inherit only financial assets, or a guiding philosophy that shapes their decisions? Will your community remember your name, or the mission you stood for? Will your work produce temporary results, or build systems that create value for generations? This perspective changes how you live each day. Short-term thinking gives way to long-term wisdom. Self-centered choices shift toward investments that serve others. Accumulation turns into contribution. Success is no longer measured by what you acquire, but by what you create and who you empower. Consider William Wilberforce, whose relentless fight against slavery in the British Empire lasted decades. Despite fierce opposition and personal sacrifice, he refused to quit. His legacy still echoes centuries later, not because he lived in comfort, but because he dismantled injustice and built something enduring. That is the power of legacy. It begins with clarity about your core values, the principles you will never compromise. From there, identify the contributions only you can make through your unique skills, experiences, and passions. Then design systems that embed those values into structures that last beyond your direct involvement. Legacy thinking transforms relationships, turning them from transactions into opportunities to pass on values and make lasting impact. It reshapes your view of wealth, not as an end in itself, but as a resource to empower others. It reframes your career from simply earning income to building influence and driving positive change. And this mindset isn't only for the wealthy or famous. Teachers leave legacies through students who carry their wisdom forward. Parents create legacies through children who embody their values. Entrepreneurs build legacies through businesses that keep serving long after they're gone. Artists shape legacies through creations that inspire generations. The question is, are you building something that lasts beyond your lifetime? Are you developing others to carry your work forward? Are you recording the lessons you've learned so they don't vanish with you? Are you designing systems that keep serving even after you step away? Wake each day not just with a schedule, but with a mission. Live not only for productivity, but for purpose. True wealth isn't measured by what you hold today, but by what remains when you're gone. Stay hungry. The twin virtues of humility and hunger create the tension needed for lasting success. Ego whispers that you've arrived when the journey has just begun, but true achievers walk a different path. They acknowledge wins without being trapped by them, knowing that yesterday's triumph doesn't guarantee tomorrow's. Humility keeps you learning, open to feedback, and willing to face your own limits. Without humility, you close yourself off to the very insights that could move you forward. The moment you think you know enough is the moment your growth begins to stall. The wealthiest and most accomplished remain students of life, showing a childlike eagerness to learn no matter their status. Hunger then becomes the propulsion system, fueling persistence when others grow complacent. This isn't just ambition, it's the recognition that human potential is far from exhausted. Each milestone uncovers new horizons. Every achievement opens doors to challenges that demand a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Humility and hunger must work together. Humility without hunger leads to stagnation, plenty of learning but little action. Hunger without humility creates quick success followed by failure. Drive without wisdom. Combined, they allow you to rise steadily while staying grounded. This mindset shows up in daily habits. You ask sharper questions instead of making empty declarations. You seek mentors who challenge your thinking. You admit gaps in your knowledge rather than pretending to know it all. And most importantly, you lift others as you climb, realizing that helping them doesn't weaken you. It strengthens your foundation. Consider Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight boxing champion in 1908. He fought not only rivals in the ring, but also a deeply racist system. At his peak, he could have let arrogance consume him. Instead, he kept training, refining, and pushing himself. He never lost sight of the bigger fight or the weight of his achievements. His legacy endures not just for his titles, but for his refusal to accept limits, whether imposed by society or success itself. The path to extraordinary achievement is not a race with a finish line. It is an infinite game with no final victory, only continuous evolution. Those who sustain greatness understand this truth. They are playing for continuation, not completion. Each day becomes another chance to learn, grow, and contribute. Remind yourself daily, you are becoming, not arriving. The road ahead stretches endlessly, filled with new challenges and opportunities for those willing to keep walking. Your greatest achievements are likely still ahead, waiting to be claimed. Only those humble enough to keep learning and hungry enough to keep striving will see them. In this mindset lies the seed of lasting significance, not in trophies or possessions, but in the ongoing pursuit of growth and contribution. Stay humble, stay hungry, and watch how far the journey will take you. Now, turn pain into power. Pain comes uninvited into every life, sometimes as brief discomfort, other times as devastating loss. This universal suffering forces a choice. Will your pain define you or refine you? Most try to escape it, hiding wounds beneath distraction or denial. But those who transform their darkest moments into driving purpose uncover a well of motivation and meaning unlike any other. The most powerful reframe is seeing pain not as punishment, but as preparation. Each hardship becomes a laboratory for resilience, empathy, and wisdom that comfort could never teach. This perspective doesn't minimize suffering. It amplifies its potential to shape you. The question shifts from, why is this happening to me? To, what is this preparing me for? Harnessing pain begins with acknowledgement. Name your struggles openly instead of burying them beneath false positivity. Document your journey through journaling, turning painful experiences into clear insights rather than letting them fester as unprocessed emotions. Share your story with those on similar paths, transforming private suffering into shared strength. Pain's greatest gift is the empathy it awakens. Having walked through darkness yourself, you begin to recognize the shadows others endure. This emotional intelligence creates genuine connection, something unreachable for those who have never been tested. Your wounds become credentials, opening doors to meaningful service and impact. Helen Keller's extraordinary story proves this truth. Losing both sight and hearing at 19 months could have left her in silence forever. Instead, she turned profound limitations into a platform for global influence. Her deprivation became the soil for unprecedented insight. As she once wrote, "The marvelous richness of human experience would lose something of rewarding joy if there were no limitations to overcome." Her silence gave birth to a voice that still resonates across generations. Pain also teaches priorities with unmatched clarity. Suffering strips away illusions, leaving only what truly matters. The entrepreneur who loses a business often discovers resilience they never knew they had. The grieving person often develops compassion that transforms relationships. The injured athlete often builds discipline stronger than before. This alchemy, turning suffering into strength, requires intention. It begins with better questions when pain arrives. What can I learn here? How might this serve others? What qualities is this difficulty building within me? These questions shift you from victim to victor. What feels like destruction may actually be preparation. The very experiences meant to break you may be the ones that equip you for your greatest contribution. Your unique blend of triumphs and tragedies creates a perspective no one else can replicate, and that is your hidden power. Pain will find you no matter what. The real question isn't whether you'll suffer, but what that suffering will shape within you. Will it leave you bitter or better? Will it make you fragile or formidable? Choosing to transform pain into power may be life's most important decision and the cornerstone of your greatest legacy. Act as though you are already valuable. The image you hold of yourself silently dictates your potential. Your self-concept sets the limits of what you believe is possible. When you see yourself as average or unremarkable, it shows up in hesitant words, apologetic gestures, and lowered expectations. But when you embody true self-worth, you naturally attract opportunities that align with that elevated vision. This is far beyond fake it till you make it. Acting as if you're valuable isn't about pretending. It's about aligning your actions today with your authentic future potential. It's becoming, through your present choices, the person you're fully capable of being. That subtle shift separates shallow imitation from real transformation. Think about how someone who values themselves deeply moves through life. They choose long-term vision over short-term convenience. They invest in quality, not quantity. They guard their time and energy like treasures. They speak with clarity and conviction, never weakening their words with unnecessary qualifiers. These aren't performances, but reflections of inner worth. Your presence communicates long before you speak. Standing tall, holding eye contact, and dressing with intention don't create value. They mirror it. Outward signals should align with your inner recognition of worth. The goal isn't to manage impressions, but to create integrity between who you are and how you show it. Even speech patterns reveal self-value. People who know their worth remove phrases like "just checking in," "sorry to bother you," or "this might be a stupid question." They don't hedge with "I think," "maybe," or "sort of." Instead, they speak clearly, ask questions directly, and express needs without unnecessary apology. This confidence flows from the belief that their thoughts deserve to be heard. Financial habits tell the same story. Those who understand their worth set prices that match their true value. They invest in growth rather than chasing quick paychecks. They focus on building assets, not just earning income. Relationships perhaps reveal self-worth most of all. People who act from genuine value establish boundaries, speak their truth even when it's unpopular, and walk away from situations that diminish them. They choose spaces and people that recognize their worth, not rooms that demand constant proof. This selective lens naturally filters opportunities, keeping only what aligns. The psychology is simple: congruence. When who you are matches how you act. When your behavior aligns with your highest potential, the inner friction fades. Energy once burned by doubt becomes fuel for action. With that clarity, opportunities start matching your real capability, not your past limits. A virtuous cycle begins. Act as if you're valuable, and you create experiences that confirm it. Those wins strengthen belief, which drives even better actions. Over time, what started as a choice becomes identity. You're no longer acting as if, you simply are. But this only works when rooted in real contribution, not entitlement. Acting as if means delivering value before demanding it, building skills, insight, and service that genuinely help others. Without that foundation, self-worth talk is just posture. Start with small, steady upgrades, not dramatic reinvention. Spot where your behavior undercuts your best self. Do you over-apologize? Undercharge? Tolerate disrespect? Accept work below your standard? Each is a chance to align action with worth. Begin today, deliberate practice, one clear choice at a time. Before any important interaction, take a moment to picture yourself fully embodying your worth. Imagine how that version of you would speak, move, and respond. Then act in alignment, not as performance, but as authenticity. With practice, this becomes your natural state. Remember, value isn't something you earn later through achievements. It's your birthright, and accomplishments are simply its expression. Don't wait for circumstances to shift. Live as someone valuable now, and watch the world adjust to reflect it. In a culture overwhelmed by consumption, true distinction comes from creation. Most people spend their days absorbing, scrolling news, watching, listening, without producing anything lasting. This imbalance drains fulfillment and stifles progress. Those who flip the ratio, creating more than they consume, accelerate their path to impact and prosperity. Creation is the real currency of value. Consumers take from what's already built, but creators inject fresh value into the world. That value may be a product solving problems, content inspiring minds, services improving lives, innovations advancing industries, or art reshaping perspectives. The key isn't what you create, but that you consistently produce something meaningful instead of endlessly absorbing. Consumption reflects scarcity, seeing resources as limited. Creation reflects abundance, recognizing the endless potential to bring new value into existence. This shift in perspective changes the way you approach each day. Instead of asking, "What can I get today?" you begin asking, "What can I contribute?" That mindset naturally draws in resources, relationships, and opportunities aligned with your ability to produce. Start by evaluating your creation to consumption ratio. How much of your time is spent absorbing versus generating? Most people discover a striking imbalance, often 90% consumption to only 10% creation. Even small steps to reverse this ratio bring powerful results. Begin with simple acts of creation. Write a thoughtful note. Solve a problem at work instead of complaining, or make a small improvement in your home. The biggest barrier isn't lack of skill, it's lack of momentum. A blank page intimidates everyone, and the first attempt rarely matches the vision. But each act builds upon the last, developing both skill and confidence. What starts as clumsy effort eventually flows into natural expression. Consider Louis Pasteur's groundbreaking contributions. He didn't just absorb scientific knowledge. He turned it into application through relentless experimentation. His vaccines and pasteurization techniques saved countless lives because he moved beyond learning into creating. His famous insight that chance favors the prepared mind reminds us that creation isn't about sudden inspiration. It's about disciplined effort applied to knowledge. And the rewards of creating extend far beyond the immediate result. First, creation develops expertise through active application rather than passive absorption. Second, it builds a body of work that demonstrates value more convincingly than any credential. Third, it establishes a distinctive identity in a crowded marketplace. Fourth, it produces intellectual property with lasting worth. And fifth, it connects you with other creators, building networks that multiply opportunity. Everyone has unique creative potential through words, products, solutions, systems, art, or service. The real question isn't whether you can create, but whether you do so consistently. Creation doesn't require grand gestures. It grows through steady, incremental contribution. Writing 3 paragraphs a day becomes a book in a year. Solving one small problem each week can transform an organization over time. Building one relationship a month can establish a powerful network by year's end. Balancing consumption and creation doesn't mean abandoning input entirely. Strategic consumption, reading, learning, observing, fuels the creative process. But it must serve creation, not replace it. The most effective creators follow disciplined information diets, consuming only what nourishes their output while eliminating distractions. Establish rituals that prioritize creation over passive intake. Block out time to create before opening any channels of consumption. Build accountability through public commitments or collaborations. Reduce friction by preparing your environment in advance. Track your output visually to sustain momentum, and celebrate small wins to reinforce the habit. Ask yourself every day, what did I create today? If the answer is mostly consumption with little creation, you've found the exact leverage point for transformation. Even a small shift from absorbing to producing moves you from passive observer to active contributor, from market participant to market maker, from extracting value to creating it. This is the alchemy that turns ordinary careers into extraordinary impact. And at its core lies one critical choice: faith over fear. These two forces constantly compete for control of your actions, decisions, and ultimately, your destiny. Fear whispers of disaster, while faith speaks of untapped possibility. Which voice do you allow to guide you? Fear once protected our ancestors from physical dangers, but today it often misfires, sparking anxiety about rejection, failure, or financial loss. Left unchecked, it becomes a prison, confining you to what feels safe but small. Faith, on the other hand, expands your world. Not blind faith, but a grounded confidence in possibility. The belief that progress and potential await if you dare to move forward. Faith acknowledges the reality of challenges while holding fast to the belief that you can overcome them. It understands that true growth requires stepping beyond familiar territory into spaces where outcomes are uncertain. Fear tries to keep you out, but faith trusts that meaning and achievement live right there, in the unknown. Developing faith-centered decision-making begins with awareness of your inner dialogue. When opportunities arise, which voice speaks louder? Fear asks endless, what if questions about disaster? What if I fail? What if they reject me? What if I lose everything? Faith responds with a different vision. What if I succeed beyond expectation? What if this challenge uncovers hidden strength? What if this is the lesson I most need? Practical faith must be reinforced. Write affirmations that directly counter your fears. Visualize success so vividly your nervous system starts responding as if it's already real. Surround yourself with people whose courage outweighs their fear, because faith is contagious. Most importantly, take steady action aligned with your highest aspirations, not your deepest anxieties. Harriet Tubman embodied this truth. After escaping slavery, she returned to slaveholding states 19 times, leading about 70 people to freedom. Every journey carried enormous risks: armed patrols, harsh terrain, betrayal, and constant threat of capture. Fear was always present, yet her faith in divine protection, in the possibility of freedom, in her own resourcefulness, overpowered it every time. Her unwavering faith allowed her to see opportunities invisible to others and achieve what many thought impossible. Faith's power shows not just in thoughts, but in presence. Those ruled by fear speak cautiously, move uncertainly, and project doubt. Those led by faith stand taller, speak with clarity, and radiate confidence. This isn't surface level. It deeply influences how people respond to you and what doors they open. The world naturally clears paths for those whose conviction outweighs their doubt. Nowhere is this more evident than in entrepreneurship. Every groundbreaking business once seemed like an improbable idea. Every breakthrough solution began as a problem others dismissed as unsolvable. Those who lean on faith don't just survive the entrepreneurial journey, they thrive, treating setbacks as redirections rather than defeats. This daily choice between faith and fear shapes your destiny. Will you voice your ideas in the meeting or stay silent? Will you launch that project or keep delaying? Will you face the tough conversation or avoid it? Will you invest in your growth or cling to safe limitations? Each decision, no matter how small, guides your path toward either wider possibilities or narrower constraints. The paradox of fear and faith is clear. Comfort and security, which fear promises, don't come from avoiding challenges, but from building the faith-driven strength to face them. True security isn't the absence of difficulty. It's the ability to handle whatever comes your way. That kind of resilience can only be forged through action rooted in faith, even when the outcome is uncertain. So today, make the choice with intention. Will you let fear guide your steps, or will you walk boldly in faith? One road ends in quiet regret for the chances you never took. The other leads to the fulfillment of becoming everything you were meant to be. Choose faith again and again, and you'll unlock opportunities fear would have kept hidden. Don't simply chase wealth. Become the person who naturally attracts it. Focus on sharpening your skills, building true value, and elevating your mindset. Every day you wait is potential wasted. Begin now. Grow with determination and never settle. The world rewards those who fully commit. Your journey upward starts here. I wish you health, happiness, and success. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.